So, for the code that I've literally just written in this class here, I'm not showing it at the moment because you will look at it and go, oh god, but it's really not that much. It's really not that much code. So basically, I'm now going to go through each of these functions, sort of as we would like to think about them. So we talked about threads, and basically it's all very well saying in the code, oh look, I made a start method and it sets maybe a Boolean variable called running to true, and that means the game is running. No, it doesn't. It means you called the start method and you made a variable happen. Basically, what we're going to do now is say, okay, we're going to use threads. Basically, we're going to say, physically start a new process, make it so that this process runs and does things. So I'm going to create a new Boolean variable, or what you will see in a minute. This Boolean variable is basically going to determine whether the game is running or not, and it's a nice little it's a nice Boolean flag, if you will, that we can use to basically say, is the game running or not? So what we're going to, who can tell me what we might call this variable? No one was listening, because it's so easy.
Run.
What?
Run.
Yeah. We make a Boolean variable and we call it running. So we're going to open up this class now. Please don't scream. I said don't scream!
Oh my god, words!
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah. So yeah, here we go. We have a Boolean variable and it's called running. So, yeah. Oh no, sorry, that should really be false actually. You can use this if you want to, or you can write it up later on. Your choice.
Flip back to the room because there was one that
Image to text.
we flip back to the room one sec because there's one bit I didn't catch.
What part are you missing then?
Should be fast.
He's here to fill the room with knowledge.
So, yeah. So basically, as you can see here, we're making a new variable and we're setting it to false initially. Why am I setting it to false initially? Well, why should this variable called running by default be set to false? Yeah, we only want the game to be running when we run the game, when running is true. So basically, this method means we are in complete control of what we can code. There are some I often go for the trade-off where, okay, to write this, I could do it this way, which is less code and it'll work fine, but I won't have that much control over what goes on beneath that. Or I can write a lot more code. It'll be harder to implement, harder to think of, but I will have a lot more control and I will be able to control a lot more things that happens. What this function or whatever it is does. I can show you some stuff where I deliberately choose to say, right, I'll add more code because I'll have control over it. I can go through some examples of that. So you see that I also declare a thread. It takes this parameter. So yes, we're just talking about threads. We want to make sort of a new sub-process or a new process within this program so that it physically makes a process. This process will run. One thing I am going to do now is, no, I'll just tell you actually. So here we have the new thread, and here the game is starting. Yeah. So you can see within the start method, I'm saying running is true. This is when the game is running, when we start the game, and this is where the thread will start. This is where the thread will commence, where it will initialize. So I now have a method called run, and it has to be called run because, as you can also see, I implement runnable. And basically, if you look through any Java program, it should have, basically, within the main class, it should implement runnable, and it should have at least one thread. A proper, well-made Java program should implement a runnable, or implement the runnable interface, and it should have a thread, and it should use that thread, basically, is what it should do. Some of them don't, but that's their problem. The method has to be called run. I can't really stress that enough. It has to be called run for the pure reason that that is what the That is what the method in the interface. If the method in the interface was called kickstart, I would have to call it kickstart, or I'd have to use the method kickstart. Interfaces basically mean, here's a set of methods, you have to use them. That's all an interface does. Now, who can tell me what this code here might be doing? I don't think I taught you about while loops and if loops, but if someone can tell me what's going on here, that'd be
So while running equals true, you're running the update method.
exactly. Bang on. Yeah. So here we have a variable here called running. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop doing that. That's really bad. So we have the running variable. Yeah. And while running equals true, I could put. In fact, I'll show you. Running, or just putting the variable name, a Boolean variable name itself, is exactly the same as saying if that equals true. You can do either one; it makes no difference. I guess it depends on how confident you are with programming, or which one you just generally prefer. Or
Would it not
I
just
would
be easier to
suggest,
write true?
just for your own sanity, if you do put it as running equals true, it's
Okay.
probably more sensible. Simply because if you come back to this and you're not massively happy with what you've done, it's going to make it easier for you to understand what's going on, okay?
so, oh god,
I think you just deleted it.
no, it
No, oh, you just minimised it. This is why the smartboard sucks.
does suck.
Just use the mouse. Great use of college money.
Yeah. So here we can see, while running equals true, the game will be updated. And running will always equal true until we quit the game. Yeah? That should make sense to everyone. Nothing is being updated at the moment, because all we're doing is filling a blank screen. And as Ted will see, this is a considerable less amount of code than the previous lesson. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it's working, because this is ticking all the time. So, basically, as you saw above, I did say a couple minutes ago we wouldn't be using JPanel. We are now, because it's just going to be a lot easier for everyone. So here we go. Because we extend JPanel, we get access to all of JPanel's functions and variables and all that sort of stuff. I did cover this in the lesson on Wednesday with Peter. Actually, I did a whole talk on inheritance and why it's important, why we should use it. So the first thing, which if we don't have this, basically you get a really weird buffer bug, basically where you'll get black and white lines and it'll look like it's flickering really badly. So that will solve that problem. Basically, you should use it so that it's basically you're just saying let the JPanel paint for me. I can show you the code that I have just showed the previous class, which is a lot more code than this, basically. But they made their own buffer from scratch. I feel sorry for them now because I just found a much easier way of doing it. So here we have. So here we can see now. We're going to set the colour to black, and then after that we're going to fill in the rectangle. Yeah. So we're making it black. We're filling in the rectangle. I know I showed you with JPanel last time, so we just said set the background to black and it did it for you. But here I'm showing you the difference, that it's all very well saying, okay, fill in a rectangle, but you have to tell it what colour you want to fill first. Yeah? That is really important that you do that. G.dispose, basically, okay, I'll do the last example I did in the previous class. So, say this is a game here, yeah? This is the graphics for a game. So let's imagine that I'm a character in a game, and I'm the enemy, yeah? And you're in a first-person game, and I'm the enemy looking at you, yeah? So here's the first frame, yeah? Within the 17 milliseconds in time, yeah? The next frame is going to be me shooting you and killing you. So here's this frame, yeah? And then this frame where I'm sort of looking at you and killing you. What happens to this frame? Do we need it anymore?
Gets disposed of.
Exactly, gets disposed of, exactly. Just because stuff gets constantly updated. We render at an instance in time. We do not need the previous frame. It's gone. We're not looking at it anymore. That's the past now, yeah? We don't need it, so we get rid of it.
So that
This is
just
how-
makes space.
Pardon?
That just makes space basically by the
Yes. And that is how you can put high stress on a GPU using Java, basically, or a CPU in Java's case. You say, take this frame, now take this frame, now take this frame, now take this frame, and keep on taking them, and you never get rid of them. It's just a stack, basically, and they don't go away.
Eventually you overload.
Yeah. You can ignore the system.out.println method. I was only using that to test that. Basically, it was constantly rendering, and it is. Or it was constantly checking in the render frame, that it is. And then repaint is basically handling the buffer in one line in one function. Basically, what this method does, it says, okay, redo everything with inside the paint method. And so basically, if you press, I don't know, move forward. Oh no, it'll be easier on a 2D game, so that's the best example to use. So here we have the paddle, yeah? We have the paddle. So when I press the down button, this button's going to go, or this paddle is going to move down, yeah? It's going to sit here, it's going to be here, then it's going to be here. Two things are happening there. First of all, the position of the paddle is being updated. So in this case, because the origin is up here, the Y position is increasing. In fact, that'll be worth noting. So the origin is there. That's 0, 0. That's X, that's Y. If you don't know, does anyone here, did I cover how to remember graph axis names? No? Okay, who here knows which of these, or who here knows how to remember? Yeah, okay.
Going along the hall and up the stairs.
There is, yeah, X is across, or X is across, or A cross. Haha, haha, get it. And Y has the up and down lines. So freaking hilarious. So yeah, that's how you're into that. Really simple way of doing it. There are probably easier ways online, or however, but it's important that you know that is the origin, because when you're looking to draw stuff on the screen, you need to know where the origin is, so you can position it relative to that. And you always render stuff relative to the origin, because you need to know where your start point is. So again, press down. All really that's happening is, okay, this is the difference between saying it in a programmer's perspective and just a game player perspective or a user perspective. So from a user perspective, I press down and the paddle moves down, yeah? A programmer's perspective would be, I press down, the Y position of the paddle increases. And it's basically the same thing with the update and render method. You press down, all the update method is doing is saying, oh, okay, his Y position has increased since last time, yeah? Or since the last frame, or since the last tick, or whatever. So you say, okay, here's Y position's increased, make it equal this number. And it will. And the render will just say, what's its Y position? Oh, it's this, okay, render it there. Which is how the two interlink. The renderer basically gets all the information and displays it, and the updater basically sets all the new information. That's probably a really nice way of looking at it, actually. Again, so when we stop, running is false. Should make complete perfect sense. And then we have the main method, which basically starts a new window. So here's the new window. We declare a new window, which is up here. And in here, you can see we declare a new Pong, we add the Pong to the game, and then Pong starts. Yeah? On when we create the frame. Who here does not get anything I have just talked about? Who here is confused by anything I've just talked about?
So the way that that's set up, does that mean that you can have multiple windows with multiple instances of Pong running, because each window is running a separate thread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. You just add your Pong object that you made.
It doesn't. It seems to have a problem with some of this, with our stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to go around now and look at everyone. But that's this lecture, I guess. So basically, go off now and try and make this happen. I'm going to come around and help people.